Welcome to Whining About Real Estate. I'm Quincy,
And I'm Nicolette.
and we're the Virgilio team.
Today we're going to have an open, candid, non-scripted conversation, like we always do, in regards to what's going on in the local real estate. There's a lot of information going on out there, lots of news reports, lots of realtors providing information, lots of lenders posting. So we thought it would be a great idea just to get going, jump into some statistics, ended conversation on what we're seeing on a daily basis, and really provide some opportunity for you to reach out to us to ask those questions that you need. So we do ask that if this information is valuable to you, or at least if you're funny, that you send this information, you post this, repost, even comment. Even if you don't agree with us, we'd love to have that banter and hear different feedback on what you think in regards to the real estate market and how we're all impacted through that. So
Yeah, most of the things that we go through on a daily basis are all statistical based. You know, we look at what's on the market, we look at what goes in the contract, look at how many homes are selling, and how many days are on the market, prices for list price versus sales price, and that gives us a beat on what the market is telling us is going on. Keep in mind, realtors don't set the market. The market is the market, and once again, I've said this 1,000 times: the market's never wrong. I talk about it all the time with all of my favorite clients and all my new clients too about that situation. Is that I'd love to tell you I'm the one who sets the market. I'm going to get you $1 billion. Well, the market is defined by one thing. What's the market defined by?
what a seller's willing to accept and what a buyer's willing to pay.
Correct. That's the market. Never fails. You can price your home for $1, and the market is going to tell you what it is. A buyer's going to say $1 is ridiculous. It's $1 million, and the seller's going to say, yeah, $1 million is right. That's the market. What we do is we interpret the market, and we help share that information with everybody, including you. And of course, it's different across the country. We're talking about the Silicon Valley Bay Area in California, but the numbers don't change the story. So wherever you are, the numbers dictate the story. And it's up to us to be able to interpret that to our clients and share with them. Get into the numbers right here. So we specifically target Santa Clara County, more commonly known as Silicon Valley in the world out there. And I'm trying to track 3 and 4 specific data points. One, how many homes sell, how many homes are on the market, how many are in contract, and the last piece is how long have they been on the market before they went into contract or before they sold. So I have some numbers here to share quickly, and then we can talk what it all means. I went back and looked at May 2022 in Santa Clara County. There were approximately 1,356 homes sold. That's single-family, condominiums, and townhomes combined. And they were on the market before they went into contract, meaning from the day they went on the market to the day they were accepted offer, 11 days. So then I said, okay, so what about June? That's May. June, the month, there are currently there were 692 homes sold. Again, condos and townhomes and single families, and those were on the market for 13 days, so a slight increase from the month of May. Then I'm looking at now, how many homes are pending in Santa Clara County? Single family, condominiums, townhomes combined, there are 1,246. Those were on the market 21 days before they got in contract. Now here's the big one. Active listings Santa Clara County. There are 1,947 combined single family and condominium townhomes. Those have been on the market an average of 33 days.
Yeah.
So what does it show you?
We're creeping into more normalcy, which is a wonderful thing when you strip it away. We've all felt like in California the last couple years, but
truly.
We're back to the beautiful California surf that everyone still moves here for.
Yeah. So the numbers show us that we're moving to a normal market. If you look at how many homes are for sale, we go roughly, let's just call it 1,950. It's close enough. And how many are going to sell? Around 1,300 again this month. Now the number of sales are pretty consistent, even though they're changing. What's happened is there's more homes on the market. So we have about a month and a half supply now. Typically, economists and real estate professionals alike will tell you if you have less than 2 months supply, it's a seller's market. If you have 2 months supply, it's a neutral market. And if you have more than 2 months supply, it's a buyer's market. So we're moving towards a neutral market. Now, what's affecting these amount of sales and amount of listings? What's going on the buy side?
Well, buyers are definitely, there was a moment when interest rates went up that everyone kind of like halted for a stop, had to realize that, we're no longer seeing those 3% interest rates anymore. But they're also now realizing that they're not having to go hundreds of thousands of dollars over the list price was as well. So there's a kind of calming that I see, at least with the people that I'm working with. There's new negotiation opportunities. There's all kinds of different strategies that we would be able to share with you. We only share with our clients, but
and strategies that will help. These interest rates that are climbing into the 5, 6, and maybe even 7% here before too long. But there's ways to make that work for you and still get a fair valued home and keep your mortgage payments reasonable. There's good strategies out there. We have them.
Yeah. So I'm working with several buyers that actually the interest rate is not scaring them because they're excited at opportunity where they have just got kicked in the teeth the last few years. Some teachers that I'm working with and some other people that just did not have the resources to go above, number one, an appraised value. So if something isn't going to appraise, there is no way in hell we're able to even consider moving forward with a non-contingent offer. Another piece coming into the play is for the last, I don't know how many years, but there's
post-COVID.
It's been a non-contingent world, which is a very, very high stress on both sides. Because it doesn't allow the buyer to really have time to think and digest all the information. It's great because it moves very, very rapidly. And, I think in the Bay Area, that's something we're kind of all used to.
Yeah.
But it just gives each side, this is a huge purchase.
Yeah, there's some breathing room.
Yeah, some breaths.
You could take a break. You could say, all right, I don't have to make a decision in 10 seconds today.
Yeah.
I could think about this purchase. I could think about what an impact, and I could protect myself if in case something isn't right. For example, the appraisals that we would go in non-contingent appraisal, no contingencies for appraisals for, well, really since post-COVID.
And when the sellers are represented appropriately, the buyers don't need to necessarily have a contingency. If both sides are doing their job and the buyers are fully underwritten and they have their financial scenario all set up and the sellers are doing their side with their agent and they have all the information up front, it can still be a non-contingent world. My client still wanted to make a non-contingent offer recently because all the information's there, but it's not in that situation of just the stress and you have to, and that's your only entry point of even getting a consideration for a property.
I mean, you go back to our conversation about what the market is. So for the last 2 years, maybe a little more, the market has been just so inflated. Now, what I mean by inflated is that the home is, let's just pretend the home is of a value is worth $1.1 million. But because of the heat of the market, people were willing to pay $1.2 million, $1.3 million, $1.4 million, driving the market up. The appraisal might not come in at that point.
Right.
Now, the realistic thing is the house is worth $1.1 million. Let's just pretend it may be more, maybe less. Let's just call it $1.1 million. It's probably going to sell for around $1.1 million. And if the comparable market shows that that's the value of the home, it's easy to go in without a property contingency, but you're not $300,000 over what the last value of the home was when the last sale was posted. So it's just a little more realistic. It's a little more
right. And I think that there's going to be a time reshake and settling in the sense of how much people understand what their home is worth too, because I'll give myself an example. The neighbor's house sold for, 1.3. I'm like, oh, ours is 1.5 now. Yeah. So, but you already cha-ching in your head. Well, again, a home is only worth what a buyer's willing to pay, and a buyer won't buy my house any longer for 1.5. So,
it's a funny thing because I talk often with a lot of my clients and a lot of my friends that are thinking, my home is worth 1.8. You think my home is 1.8? I ask them this question: are you going to sell it today? They say no. Doesn't matter.
So yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
If you're going to sell it today, let's figure out what it's worth. But if we're just talking today, it could be worth $10 million. Who cares? You're not selling it today.
Right. Absolutely.
So, it really comes down to is that we actually have a little breathing room. And summertime in general, even in the insane market of the last year, summertime still had a little cooling. It was a little softer. not much, but like this now, with a good 500-600 homes more than are selling in the marketplace, it gives some breathing room. And I think the market needed a little breathing room. Now interest rates, and I think we're going to do a whole show on interest rates here real soon. We're going to bring in our mortgage experts with us, our mortgage partners, and start talking about what really affects interest rates and where they're going to go. The Wall Street is long term. We're going to see a return to lower interest rates, but not the 3s, not the 2s, but the 4s and 5s may be realistic again down the road. As soon as we get this inflation and this monetary policy underhand, and controlled, hopefully we're going to see some what people call normal. That's the thing, what people call normal. An average interest rate since for the last 50 years, if you take an average of interest rates for 50 years, and you look at the 80s when it was 19%, you look at the 90s when it was 14%, the average is 7%. So we're not even at the average yet. We're still rich.
Yet.
But everyone's spoiled. Everyone's spoiled. I remember I talked to one client of mine who wanted to buy a place down in San Diego, and our mortgage partner said, well, it's a non-owner occupied home, and this is going back a few weeks, non-owner occupied home, and it's going to be 5.25%. Oh, way am I paying 5.25%?
Oh, yeah. So
are you kidding? Well, now he'll pay 7, but he didn't buy. So.
And, and strategies within lending as well. A 30-year fix is not the only option out there. And I think with rates becoming where they're at, there's lenders that are coming up with strategies and loan programs and different availability to, buyers. It's not going to put us in a place where you fogged a mirror and you get a loan. I mean, these lenders are still doing everything to make sure that we're not in that situation again. Yeah. However, there are different programs to look into that, with the idea of maybe at some point being able to refinance or do other things, or realizing that this may not be your forever home. Why do you need a 30-year fix if this is not your forever home?
Right, and if you look at the national average for how long someone lives in their house, it used to be 7 years. I think it's stretched out to about 9 right now across the country, maybe not just in the Bay Area. A 30-year fix sounds great because you have the security of 30 years at, let's just pretend 4%. But you might be able to get a 7-year fixed and think about refinancing if rates come down, or I'm going to sell the house, I'm going to move. Who knows? Yeah. And people move. We all move. Thank God you all move. That's how we stay in business. But the point is that, our conversation today is about just that. This is a conversation that we want to have with all of our clients, all of our prospective clients. You want to have an open conversation about what's going on in the marketplace and what potentially could go on. The other piece that we all talk about all the time is that, the value of the properties in Santa Clara County since 1940. If I took a chart, and I have this chart, I wish I could bring that out one day. I'll bring it.
I can actually post it in the
we put it in the end. Since 1940, the average value of a home in Santa Clara County has doubled every 10 years. It's amazing. What was 3,000 became 6,000, 6,000 became 12,000, and all the way up to now. So now our average is way up there, and it's hard for me to say in 10 years we're going to be at 4.4 million, but statistically, it shows that we're doubling every 10 years.
Well, not only that, but one thing we always say is our crystal ball is a little foggy, right? But when a mortgage, and say you do decide to do a 30-year fixed, it is fixed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So with inflation and all the other things that a cost of living going up, all the other things, you don't have that opportunity when renting a property.
That's right.
The security of how long they're going to keep that property, you have no idea when they're going to sell that property. It could be 3 months, it could be a year, it could be 10 years. But one thing you do know is they're not going to let you live there for 30 years. I can guarantee that.
And the other thing is you're making their mortgage payment
right.
for them. So
you're paying someone.
Make it for yourself.
Yeah. So, there's obviously every day you stay a renter, it's expensive for your long-term wealth. So, I think finding the why in every situation through your investment strategy and the things that we really want to just be open to all of our clients and friends. So again, if you like this information, you feel it's valuable, you like us, share it. We like us. We're fun. Also, it's Friday with wine. Normally, we're drinking 9 a.m. filming this, so it could get wild.
Show, yeah.
So sharing it with people or letting us know anyone that's having thoughts or discussions around this topic is extremely important. There's so many different angles. I know with stocks being extremely affected right now. and the RSUs and all that stuff. There's a lot of scary things going on for people in tech right now. But again, everything, once you peel back the layers, can be figured out, right? And once you know your why and why you're buying this property, are you going to be staying in the Bay Area? Are you committed to this company? And you're committed to your long-term wealth and providing for your children. Once you get to the meat and potatoes, it can all make sense. So.
Yeah, and again, it's just coming down to, like you're talking about, what's your why, and especially if you're thinking like downsizing and things like that. There's a lot of reasons, with Prop 19 and everything else, to take advantage of what's going on in the world that helps you out. Your 3,500 square foot home maybe no longer fit for you, but a nice little 1,500 and a little golf community might be the best way to go. Who knows?
You can play pickleball next to my dad while he golfs.
Well, golf. So that's okay. Point again, and I just love this conversation, and I wish this conversation could go to everybody that we know and everybody you know, and I hope that you get to share it. And also, we'd love to have that conversation with your friends and family too. So,
I think that was it. We just really wanted to kind of tap on, there's so much information going on out there, and this obviously can be very, very drilled down to what your specific situation is. We kind of did a broad overview on what we're seeing out there. At the end of the day, we're still in a fantastic market.
Absolutely.
Things are still moving. We went from red hot to hot. So it's still a great time to buy, a great time to sell. And again, it all boils down to your why and why you're doing either side. So
Yeah, I always like to say this too, and I say this in some of the worst times in real estate. I don't care what's going on in the marketplace. Someone needs to sell, and someone needs to buy. So someone will buy your home, and someone will sell a home. So,
and someone needs to represent you. So we're there.
That's us. So, all right. Well, have a great weekend.
All right. Let us know how we can help.
Please
Take
share
care.
us. Thanks.
Thank you.